as President of the United States, I will preserve my proud conservative Republican credentials, but I will reach across the aisle to the Democrats and work together for the good of this country.
Senator John McCain today touting his conservative credentials, sounding like a general election candidate heading into Super Tuesday, where 21 states are voting for the Republicans, 1,081 delegates are up for grabs, and 9 states where the winner takes all the delegates.
Senator McCain is favored in 5 of those states, his home state of Arizona, as well as Rudy Giuliani's New York and New Jersey, Connecticut, and Delaware. That's 251 delegates, and the losers get none.
That's right, and California is the grand prize with a variation on winner-take-all, awarding 3 delegates to the popular vote in each of the 53 congressional districts. The winner of the statewide vote then picks up an 11 more.
A new MSNBC poll gives McCain a 9-point cushion over Mitt Romney, who has 31% of the vote. Huckabee's in third with 13%.
But hold on, another poll shows Romney leading McCain by 3 in the race for the share of the state's 170 delegates. So clearly, the race in California is a toss-up. So joining us to break it all down in the Republican race, Republican strategist Karen Hanretty, MSNBC political analyst
Norah.
Pat Buchanan, and Air America host and MSNBC political analyst Rachel Maddow. And Pat Buchanan, let me start with you. Mitt Romney is racing across this country trying to score some votes. He is in Long Beach, California tonight, trying to win in California. Is it really a tight race there?
Yes.
It certainly is a tight race there. And I think McCain testified to it when I believe he went to San Diego tonight and had a rally with Arnold Schwarzenegger. If Mitt Romney can pull out a victory in California, I think it will be seen as very dramatic, a tremendous encouragement to the conservative talk show hosts. Romney will look like someone who has begun to turn it around, and there will really be a sense of momentum for Romney. It's going to be a tough battle. I think they've got almost a third to one-half of those votes, I believe, have already been cast out there. The absentee ballots are extremely heavy, so I don't know if he can do it, but if he did, it would be one of the shockers of the night and one of the big headlines of the morning.
And Karen, what about
Rachel? Go ahead.
I was just going to bring in Karen, who is out in California, and Karen, and who has worked for politicians out in California. Karen, let me ask you, does Romney have to win California, or does he just have to do well since it's not a total winner-take-all for the Republicans in California?
It's almost unimaginable that Mitt Romney could win California. There's 173 delegates, but it's proportional by congressional district. There are 53 congressional districts. You know, it's winner-take-all in each. It's complicated, but at the end of the day, if Mitt Romney won, let's say, half of those delegates, did much better than expected, that might give him a little bit momentum to continue moving on. But you know what? He doesn't need to win over the support of the talk radio crowd. This is a delegates number, and John McCain is going to win New York. That's winner take all. That's 101 delegates. He'll probably win New Jersey, Connecticut. Those are winner take all states. I think the odds are against Mitt Romney, even if he does well in California.
But Karen, on that very point, I want to run through a couple of polls, and this is going to be 6, 7, 8, and 9. This is the Northeast, and of course in Massachusetts, Mitt Romney's up 50-37 over John McCain. But then when you look at New York, McCain 54, Romney 22. New Jersey, McCain 46, Romney 31. Delaware, McCain 41, Romney 35. Romney's from the Northeast. Why is he running so badly in these northeastern states?
Look, I think that John McCain is a much better fit for the Northeastern, at least how he's been running. He's much more independent. Republicans in the Northeast are much more identified, I think, as moderate to independent. And, you know, as Pat Buchanan has said earlier today, and he's exactly right, Mitt Romney is not running as a Northeastern Republican. He's running as a social conservative, not the kind of Republican that, for instance, Rudy Giuliani is. I think a lot of Rudy's supporters are going directly to McCain.
Rachel Maddow, I have to talk to you about what is this war going on in the Republican Party, where essentially a number of these talk show radio hosts are essentially trying to run this viral campaign, if you will, to get McCain out of this race, saying he's not a true conservative. Rush Limbaugh has been doing this quite often, but today he went off on McCain again. Bob Dole sent a letter to Limbaugh defending him, and Bob Dole essentially sent this letter. It said, "I worked closely with Senator McCain when he came to the Senate in 1987 until I departed. I cannot recall a single instance when he did not support the party on a critical issue, on critical votes." And then he says, quote, "At my age, I cannot be entirely certain, but here are a few key conservative examples." And then he goes on, which is typical Bob Dole style. But nevertheless, what is going on with the right on the air in trying to destroy John McCain?
Well, for a very, very long time, John McCain has been a Republican Party enemy of conservative talk radio. I mean, in talk radio, people don't necessarily see themselves as representative of the party. They see themselves as representatives of the ideological movement. They don't see McCain, they haven't seen McCain as being an ideologically pure conservative. They've seen him, therefore, pushing the party to the left and being the opposite of the kind of influence that they want to have on the party.
But Rachel, isn't Romney less of a pure ideological conservative than McCain? I mean, McCain has been pro-life for 20, 30 years. Romney's only been pro-life for a couple years.
Yeah, there's two big complications with the talk radio influence on the right now. And one of them is that as long as they've hated John McCain and as long as they've crusaded against John McCain, it's not exactly true that Mitt Romney is a perfect vessel for ideological conservatism. I mean, all you have to do is play the tapes of him in 1994 running against Ted Kennedy, to Ted Kennedy's left. The other side of this that's more local and more immediate is that John McCain really needs to avoid being compared with Bob Dole under any circumstances. He needs to not be in the same room, the same news story, or on the same network as the name Bob Dole for a very long time.
But let me give you, Nora, one of the problems John McCain's got. The hottest blazing issue the last 2 years, the one that has animated and united the grassroots populists across the parties, quite frankly, has been illegal immigration, and the whole country rose up to defeat the amnesty bill. What was the title of that bill? McCain-Kennedy. And whenever you find legislation, McCain-Kennedy, McCain-Feingold, McCain-Lieberman, John McCain is working with the other side to torpedo some cause in which the conservative movement is doing battle. He may represent Republicans, and he may be the face of the party, but John McCain will never be the face of the conservative movement. The question is,
very quickly, Pat, let's use you as an example. Pat, let's use you as an example. If John McCain is the nominee, you, somebody who doesn't like the neocons, doesn't like his position on immigration, will you support John McCain as the nominee?
Look, I would not vote for Hillary Clinton, but I am an anti-war Republican, an anti-war conservative. I think John McCain, he's talking about bomb Iran. He wants to get into Putin's face. We're going to expand NATO. I mean, the guy said we're going to have more wars. I'm sorry to tell you that. We're going to have more wars. I mean, you get him there and Netanyahu in Israel, and you tell me we're not going to be at war with Iran in 6 months.
Well, Pat, you are fired up, and I love it. That's why we are coming back. You're going to return, Karen, you as well, and Rachel, and we're going to have more coming up.
And Pat, I still want to know whether the answer is yes or no about supporting John McCain if he's the nominee, but we'll get that coming up next. Just hours to go. I hope you can. And again, to what we were talking about earlier, what's your prediction? And if it is John McCain who's rolling towards the nomination, what's a conservative like yourself going to do?
Well, I can't tell you what I'm going to do because MSNBC doesn't allow us to endorse, as you know, David. But I think this. I think that Mitt Romney, the continuance of his campaign and its credibility will depend on 2 states. Georgia, where he has a shot, but most importantly, California. I think he's got momentum out there, and I think he could be ahead, but I think the decision out there will depend on the early voting. But I agree with you. It's going to be a very big day for John McCain. The question is whether it becomes the final day of the campaign virtually. Karen, quick prediction?
I think that John McCain takes California. The early voting puts him over the top. Those people have been voting for a few weeks now. Big parties in Arizona tomorrow for the senator. And talk radio is going to have, I think it'll be Black Wednesday for them.
And Rachel Maddow, speaking of talk radio, I'm going to predict that you're going to surpass Rush Limbaugh in an audience before this is out. But give us your prediction as far as the race tomorrow.
If Rush Limbaugh keeps spending every show talking about how much he hates John McCain, I think you're right. I think my big prediction for tomorrow is that tomorrow's going to be our last day with Mitt Romney on the presidential campaign trail. I think that's the big person we've got to say goodbye to after tomorrow.
Goodbye to Mitt Romney. And so, Pat, that again takes us back to the same issue. And again, with John McCain, is there a way, though, for conservatives to sort of bridge their differences with John McCain?
He can never be the leader of the conservative movement. He'll be the leader of the Republican Party. And the way he'll have to bring him back is two ways. He'll have to start reaching out, and a lot of them will move toward him, and he can move toward them. And then he's got to hope that the Democratic candidate, especially if it's Hillary Rodham Clinton, will really unite Republicans who will say, look, you cannot have President Hillary Rodham Clinton and a heavily Democratic Congress in both houses, or everything we've been fighting for is going to be lost. There are things that are going to bring conservatives back to John McCain.
All right. Pat Buchanan, thanks so much.